Good morning, everybody. I'm Danielle Knox, and welcome to The Balancing Act. Today, I'm interviewing Yvonne Boyce, who represents the U.S., speaking to women all around the world on how to overcome obstacles to success. Also, what you don't know can hurt you. Today, the story of a mom and daughter's difficult journey with an eating disorder. These stories and much more on The Balancing Act. Well, as women know, both in business and in life, it can sometimes be tough to achieve your goals. Many young women want to succeed. They've got the passion and the brains, but they need to be empowered. But just how does that happen? Our guest, Yvonne Boyce, a motivational speaker and entrepreneur, represents the United States, speaking to women all around the world on how to overcome their obstacles to success and find the right networking groups and mentors to help you grow both personally and professionally. Yvonne, we really appreciate you being here with us this morning.
My pleasure.
You are, by all accounts, a very successful entrepreneur, but what does it take, Yvonne, to be a successful leader?
The confidence that you can do it and that you can achieve that role.
And you obviously have done that. You've got the confidence to achieve that role. Tell me a little bit more about how you gained your financial success and what you've done with what you've gained.
Well, unfortunately, my husband passed away 15 years ago, and I was left with a 70,000 square foot shopping center that I had to learn how to maintain and become successful.
With no experience whatsoever before that.
Absolutely. that wasn't my field of expertise. But I knew I needed to learn the business, so that because that was my only source of income, and if I didn't learn that, I was not going to succeed in life.
Now, I know you had a pretty incredible experience when you went to Abu Dhabi. Tell me about that.
Well, I chair the Palm Beach International Film Festival, and when I was in Abu Dhabi, the Moroccan delegation came and asked me if I had any thoughts on how women could be portrayed in film in a better light in their country of Morocco. So I came up with an idea of having a contest. And so I went and spoke at their Marrakech Film Festival and offered this contest to the filmmakers. And I followed a filmmaker who said that women in Morocco had always been portrayed as victims. That's the way it always was. That's the way it was going to continue to be. And that's all he had to say, and he was sitting down. And
you followed him.
Yes. And then I was introduced.
Right.
At which point, all of my prepared remarks went out the window, and I said, ladies, you do not have to believe this. This is not the truth about women, and you do not have to believe what he has to say, nor do you have to accept it, because we do not have to be victims.
You know, you've done a lot of great things. You've received a lot of accolades, and I know sometimes it's tough to talk about all the great things you've done, but talk to me a little bit about that, because it's so impressive.
Well, I've just been named to the National Trust of the National Endowment for the Humanities in Washington, D.C., and that's been a great thing, because our new project is called Picturing America, and it goes into all of the schools around the country. And it's so marvelous because it tells our history of our country through pictures for our school children. Fortunately, a few months ago, I was given the President's Volunteer Award for volunteering over 4,000 hours in the community. So I'm very, very proud of that.
Well, you know, everywhere you go, you're so easy to relate to. Why do you think that is, and what do you think makes you a successful motivator?
Well, because I've traveled to 150 different countries. I own a travel agency, and I find that women, regardless of where we go in the rest of the world, we all have the same wants and desires. We all want peace on this earth. We all want a better life for our children and our grandchildren, and we want to help other women to succeed, because that's what it's all about, giving back to one another.
It certainly is. Yvonne Boyce, thank you so much. We appreciate you for being with us.
My pleasure.
And coming up next, how a mother and daughter unravel the truth, lies, and realities of an eating disorder. Stay with us. Hi, welcome back. In today's perfection-driven society, teens are increasingly developing heartbreaking obsessions about the way they look. Fitting into a size 0 drives kids to develop life-threatening behaviors that not only hurt themselves, but their families as well. We all want to look good, but when does wanting to have a 0% body fat count become a troubling disease? Most importantly, how can parents tell that their child is not just going through a phase, but through a severe illness that can actually take their life? Here to tell both sides of an eating disorder struggle are mom and daughter team, Lori Antos Benson and Taryn Lee Benson, authors of Distorted. Ladies, we appreciate you being here with us. This is really just a heartbreaking story, but luckily this one has a happy ending. Let's start with you, Taryn. When did you know that you had an eating disorder?
Well, I knew that I had an eating disorder. I didn't really see it as much of a problem for a while after I was into it. It really started to become, I really noticed that it was a problem, and it really started to really feel out of control probably when I was about 17 and almost 18, and I had been doing the disordered behaviors for several years.
In your own words, tell everybody out there what exactly an eating disorder is.
An eating disorder, I think a common misconception is it's not always just about food. You know, it's not always about what you're eating or how much of it you're eating. It's about how you feel about yourself. And you know, a big part of it is the emotions that you go through and the self-loathing and the depression and the anxiety that it causes. You know,
and it's really disordered eating. It's really doing things in a different way, but you can't forget the emotional and the mental part of it. That's really what it's about. But it can manifest itself by withholding food and anorexia, by binging and purging. You know, there are various ways, by over-exercising continually. That's called exercise bulimia.
She talked a lot about low self-esteem and not feeling good enough. Where did that come from?
God only knows. That was one of the biggest problems that I had, is I felt like we had made a lot of choices to give our family the priority, the big priority in our lives. And we moved from New York down to Florida so we could have a family-centered life. We made all these choices so that we wouldn't have issues and problems later on. Yes, I heard her say things like, "Oh, I wish, you know, my hair is so awful, my nose is funny, you know, look at this fat." But all of them, I thought, were just sort of age-appropriate things that all kids feel and all kids go through.
And when we look at her, we see such a beautiful girl.
She was always a beautiful girl.
What was the worst part of the ordeal for you? When did you realize, okay, I'm in trouble here?
I really realized it, and there was a summer when I was staying at a cousin's house, and just the efforts that I had to go to in order to binge and purge and continue with my eating disorder. And you know, because I didn't have a car, so I couldn't just drive to the grocery store, so I had to wait till everyone was sleeping, and then I'd go and try and binge, and I could only take certain amounts from certain containers so they wouldn't notice, and then I was in the backyard throwing up and everything.
Did anybody know? Did you share your problem with it?
Well, I didn't.
At that point, we all knew.
You did know.
She was visiting
They did
at a
know,
family.
yeah.
This was well into it. I knew there was a problem well before she accepted.
Did you talk to her about it?
Yes, I mean, she knew there was an issue. We sent her to a facility, she was in therapy, but she didn't accept it herself that this was actually an issue that was impacting her life. She liked having the eating disorder. She wanted to continue with it. So when she's telling you this story, this is 2 years into the eating disorder.
This was really my awakening and my kind of feeling that this was out of control.
Do you think part of your healing was writing this book, was writing Distorted? Tell us about this book.
Very therapeutic.
Okay.
We decided, she actually was still in the eating disorder when I told her I had searched for resources for myself and for my husband and the other kids, and there was nothing out there for the family. There was a lot of medical things, there was a lot of first-person stories, but I felt a resource for families was needed, and I wanted to write this. And Taryn is a writer and said, well, I've been thinking I'd really like to write my story also. And we talked about it, and we thought, wouldn't that really open up what an eating disorder is if you saw it from both sides, and you saw what the family went through, and you saw it from the patient's viewpoint together. And you could see how deceptive and manipulative this disease is, because as we're telling the same story, it's two different stories.
What kind of advice would you give to other families who are going through a similar situation? You've been through that storm.
The recovery is not on the parents' shoulders. It's on the patient's, the child or the young woman or young man's shoulders. We did so many things, but it wasn't until Taryn said, I want this, I'm ready to recover, that any progress was made.
Well,
that's important.
Yeah, and part of you doing this, and we really want to tell you thank you so much for sharing your story, because there are so many young girls out there who are going through right now what you've gone through and don't feel like they have anywhere to turn, don't feel like their family will understand, and are afraid to come forward. So by you speaking out, I think you're helping a lot of young girls out there. So we do appreciate you doing this.
Oh, we hope so.
Thank you so much. Where can viewers find your book?
It should be in all the bookstores. If you have trouble in your area, Amazon.com. You can
check our website, www.distortedthebook.com. There's links on the website to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, the publisher's website, and it's available through all of those websites.
Wonderful, thank you.
You're welcome.
The next wave in creative home businesses is here. More on that coming up.
Hi, I'm Dr. Paul Winter, here with one tip from my new book, The 7 Steps to a Healthy Brain. It is important to laugh. Every day, early and often. Find friends that make you laugh. The more you laugh, the less stress you'll have.
Well, if you're an artsy crafty type who loves creating something beautiful as well as functional, and if you haven't thought about embroidery as an option to do at home, we have the next wave in creative home businesses, an embroidery machine that's small enough to keep at home or travel with, yet powerful enough to produce embroidered apparel pretty quickly and easily, Kathy.
And easy it is. Look how beautiful and professional this looks.
That is beautiful.
I think this is something you and I could both do.
I think it's something that I can watch you do. Gotta be honest.
Okay. Here to tell us more about this fun and functional machine is June Mellinger, Director of Education for Brother International. Welcome, June.
Hey, it's nice to see you again, Kathy.
We appreciate you being with us. You know, I was joking with you about that because I really am not gifted at this, but what you're saying is that this is something that pretty much anybody can do, right?
Of course
Tell
you
us about the
can.
history of embroidery.
Well, you know, people have been embroidering or embellishing their things back, well, way back to the Stone Age, in fact. And it's just followed through over the ages. And, you know, even years ago when people wanted to embroider something very special because it became something to remember. Well, they, even back, a friend of mine told me that in India, when a young girl was born, they would start embroidering 8 feet of silk for her own special sari.
And that was
All by
hand
hand.
All by
embroidery, right?
hand.
Holy
So that
cow.
took a long, long time. Now those same people can use technology to embroider those things automatically, and the job is done in no time flat,
And
as you
check
said.
this out.
Lots of great
Lots of
stuff.
great
This,
stuff.
absolutely. This is done. You can do this at home.
Yes, you can.
But it looks like $1 million.
It looks like $1 million. And
You can. The way that you can start a business is absolutely phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. You can set your own hours. You can decide where you want the business to be. You can decide how much money you want to make. And that's born of how much you can do. And it's easy to learn. All you have to do is get this machine, the PR620
Tell
from
us
Brother.
about this. Tell us a little bit about this
6
machine.
needles.
Okay.
Don't have to worry about threading any of the needles because it automatically threads every needle. It automatically cuts the thread when it's done embroidering. It's 6 needles, but you could do 99 different colors. You can download designs from the internet via the USB sticks that we all like to use.
So can I do original artwork as well?
Yes, you can. You can get an optional software program that you can create your
Our
own
own
designs.
designs. Be our own
you can even
designer.
take a photograph and make it into something.
Oh, I love that. I've seen that
Good
done, and that
idea.
looks so great.
That's
And it's so easy to use. You don't have to worry about, well, you know, I'm not really sure. A quick drill through the instruction manual, even using the instruction manual that's built into the machine. It's easy.
It's just a touch of a button, basically.
Touch of the button.
Very, very simple.
Yes.
Show us the end result of what this machine can do,
some
because we
great
have here on the
examples.
table some great
There's
examples
some great
of
examples.
embroidery.
You know, a lot of people
Oh,
like to
that's so
personalize that
cute.
cute little bear, you know, and you could even add someone's initials on the front with the date that you made the bear. Doctors' offices love to have something special to kind of denote who the company is.
Even hair salons.
Hair salons,
like
anywhere that want to personalize it.
This is great.
Great little
Very functional.
water jug there for you to take along and
So this is
slip
just an
in
insert.
the design. Slip in the
Simple
design.
to
You've
do.
got a business.
Wow, this would be great for fundraisers for
Great
schools.
fundraisers.
Awesome.
My daughter-in-law got into this business about a year ago, and now she's into weddings and baby gifts. People are calling her from all over the country.
I hadn't even thought about that. That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
It's great.
That's a terrific way to start a
Well,
business.
if people want to find out more information, where can they do that?
They can visit our website. It's brother-usa.com/home sewing, and they can find out lots of great information about this brand new machine from Brother, the PR 620.
Thanks,
All
Jen.
right. We thank
Fabulous.
you. We appreciate it,
You're
Jim.
welcome.
Well, coming up next, no more boring furniture, a couch configuration that's perfect for busy moms. Hi, welcome back. I am relaxing on this nice, comfortable sofa with Sean Nelson, a man whose unique vision is revolutionizing the face of furniture today. Welcome, Sean, and we thank you so much for bringing us this love sack that I know everybody calls the love sack.
That's
but
right.
It's a great thing. Tell us how you did this. Did you just one day say, okay, yeah, I want to make an oversized beanbag chair?
Yeah, well, the whole company started because I was 18, thought it would be funny to make the world's biggest
You were 18 years
beanbag.
old.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, so I did. I went out and bought the fabric and took it home, cut it up and sewed it up and started filling it with everything soft I could find, and beanbag beads just wouldn't cut it, so I chopped up all of my mom's camping mattresses.
Oh, okay,
stuffed
Mom.
them
We
in.
know you're not happy about that.
Yeah, it took me 3 weeks to fill it, and when I finally got it done and took it out and used it, everybody seemed to want one.
Well, it's interesting because did you ever fancy yourself a furniture designer?
Oh no, I mean, I left the country for 2 years to go be a missionary, came back to finish university, and started using the sack again, and once again, everybody wanted to buy one. So I started this little company kind of as a joke, and we started selling them out of a van and making them in the basement for 3 or 4 years. Home shows, boat shows, car shows. Finally got an order for 12,000 units at this big trade show. They didn't know that it was
With
just...
no company.
Yeah, with me and my buddies. So we built a factory on credit cards, and in order to keep that factory alive, after we finished that order, we opened our first retail store at a mall in Salt Lake City in 2001. And since then, it's been a few years, and we have 25 locations around the country and shopping malls from LA to New York City.
And you know what's interesting about that is you're in the store and you have the love sack sitting next to a sofa just so people can get an idea of how it flows and fits into a room.
Right.
And then what happens?
Right, in the very first store, it was set up like a living room, and people kept trying to buy the sofa. And so I spent 5 years trying to develop a sofa that we could actually carry in stock, delivered in a box, really easy to assemble, be able to make all kinds of different furniture configurations, and make it machine washable. And that's what you're sitting in. It's called Sactionals.
Wow, so are we going to build some of these modular Sactionals?
Yeah, I'm going to show you how it works. In fact, I'm going to take that chair, change its covers, make a completely different colored chair, and then we're going to build some other things out of it as well.
Tall order. All right, let's check it out.
All right, so go ahead and have a seat on the arm.
Okay.
Because people are going to do that.
Yeah.
And what you're sitting on is a completely machine washable chair. Every piece of this can just be peeled off and changed out. And actually, this chair was built from just 2 components.
Wow.
A base, which is what you were sitting on, including this back pillow, and a side, which is this piece, and this piece, all sides. So 3 sides and 1 base makes an armchair in Sactionals.
Well, that's awesome because you talked about machine washable, and a lot of times we need to change it up a little bit, Sean, you know, because it gets dirty. We need to take it off and wash it.
You're tired of brown.
Tired
so
of brown.
We're going to take this brown chair, change the covers, make it look just like this one.
Let's do it.
Just a few seconds. We'll
Okay.
just move the cushions out of the way. Go ahead and lean down and grab that black strap, yank it. All right, in your hand you have a solid piece of steel.
Okay.
Guaranteed for life. And now we can take these pieces and build whatever we want out of them. We can just add another piece on. But first, we're going to change the covers.
Okay.
So I'm going to need your help. All right. There you go. So what do you think?
That was actually not as difficult as I thought it was going to be, so it is doable for everybody.
That's right.
But we need a little water, I think, after that.
So let's build something bigger.
Oh,
let's take
boy.
these same
Oh.
pieces, build something bigger.
All right, Sean. Oh, that was interesting, Sean.
Yeah.
But it was fun, though. So many different combinations.
Yeah, with just a few bases and sides, you can literally build anything you want with no tools required, no talent. And you can change the covers as often as you like. You know, fabrics, colors, whatever you like.
Where can people find out more information?
Just go to lovesac.com, LOVESAC.com, and there might be a store near you. Otherwise, you can get anything you want off the website.
Wonderful. We appreciate you, Sean. Thank
Thanks
you.
for letting me come.
And we appreciate you joining us today on The Balancing Act. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.
I didn't even spell that out.
Yes, you did.
I didn't.
But that's good, because you must
Air travel for the Balancing Act provided by Southwest Airlines.